Have you ever stopped and really paid attention to the endless chatter inside your mind? It's always there. From the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, your mind talks about everything: what you need to do, what happened yesterday, what might happen tomorrow. Sometimes this inner voice feels helpful, like it's guiding you or solving problems. Other times it feels like a noisy distraction, making you feel stressed or overwhelmed. But have you ever wondered, who is the mind actually talking to? It's such a simple question, but the answer might surprise you. Once you figure it out, you might laugh because the truth is so obvious. The mind is talking to itself, that's it. All those thoughts, ideas, and arguments in your head, they're just the mind creating a conversation with itself. Imagine an actor performing on stage with no audience, just acting for themselves. That's what your mind is doing. It's creating thoughts and then reacting to them as if someone else is listening. But there's no external listener. It's like a loop where the mind keeps talking and answering itself. When you realize this, it can change how you see your thoughts. Suddenly, all that mental noise starts to feel less serious. The stress and urgency that your thoughts create can fade away when you see that it's just the mind playing its own game. Think about a time when you couldn't stop replaying something in your head, maybe an argument, an embarrassing moment, or a worry about the future. Who was the mind arguing with or trying to convince? No one. It was just your mind talking to itself. This realization can feel like a big relief because it shows how much of our stress and anxiety is created by our own minds. It's like a dog chasing its own tail. There's no real reason for it, but it just keeps going. Once you see this, you can take a step back and watch your thoughts from a distance. You might even find it funny. What once felt so serious becomes just noise, a natural process of the mind doing what it always does, thinking. When you realize the mind is just talking to itself, it also reveals something deeper. You are not your mind. If the mind is creating and responding to its own thoughts, then there must be another part of you that notices this process. This is often called awareness or the observer. It's the part of you that can watch your thoughts without getting caught up in them. For example, when you watch a movie, you can enjoy the story and feel emotions, but deep down, you know it's just a movie. Similarly, the observer in you can watch your thoughts and know they're just passing stories, not the real you. When you connect with this part of yourself, the mind's chatter loses its grip. Instead of feeling controlled by your thoughts, you can simply notice them and let them pass. What's funny about this realization is how seriously we take the voice in our heads. We treat it like it's a wise guide or an all-knowing authority. But if you think about it, the mind is just like a friend who talks to themselves all day long. Would you take that friend seriously? Probably not. When you see the mind's chatter for what it is, just self-talk, you might find yourself laughing at how much power you've given it. This laughter is more than just amusement. It's freeing. It helps you let go of the idea that every thought is important. You begin to live with a sense of lightness, seeing thoughts as temporary, like clouds passing in the sky. This idea isn't new. It's been explored in spiritual traditions and psychology for centuries. Practices like mindfulness teach us to watch our thoughts without judgment. Instead of getting caught up in them, we let them come and go. When you do this, you realize that thoughts are not permanent or personal. They're just like waves on the surface of the ocean, always moving and changing. Some spiritual teachings go even further, saying that the mind's chatter is just a small part of consciousness, not the essence of who we are. When you shift your focus from the mind's noise to the silent awareness behind it, you can find a sense of peace that's always there, even in the busiest moments. Realizing that the mind talks to itself can also change how you deal with your inner critic, that harsh voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough or that you'll fail. Once you see that this voice is just another part of the mind's chatter, it loses its power. You realize it's not an ultimate truth, it's just a habit of thinking. This helps you be kinder to yourself. Instead of fighting or believing every negative thought, you can watch them and let them go. You don't have to fix or control them, they're just thoughts, and they can't define you unless you let them. In today's busy world, this understanding is more important than ever. Our minds are constantly overloaded with information, distractions, and demands. Social media, for example, makes us compare ourselves to others and criticize ourselves even more. The pressure to succeed makes the mind spin with worries about the future or regrets about the past. But when you realize that the mind is just talking to itself, you can step back from all this noise. You don't have to believe every thought or engage with every worry. Instead, you create space to breathe, to feel calm, and to reconnect with the quiet awareness inside you. So how can you use this realization in your daily life? Start by noticing when your mind gets caught up in a story, whether it's replaying the past, worrying about the future, or imagining some dramatic scenario. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, who is the mind talking to? Who is listening? When you do this, you'll often realize the answer is no one. And in that moment, you might laugh because the whole thing suddenly feels so silly. This simple practice can change your relationship with your thoughts, helping you move through life with more ease and freedom. It's important to remember that the goal isn't to stop your thoughts or silence your mind completely. The mind is a tool, and thinking is what it's designed to do. The key is to see your thoughts for what they are, just thoughts. They don't control you, and they don't define you. When you step into this awareness, you create space for new insights, deeper experiences, and genuine joy. The mind will keep talking, but you'll no longer be trapped by its stories. Instead, you'll watch it with a sense of humor and peace, knowing that you are so much more than the voice in your head. In the end, realizing that the mind talks to itself is both humbling and empowering. It shows how much of our inner struggle is unnecessary, but it also opens the door to a more peaceful and meaningful way of living. When you shift your attention from the chatter of the mind to the silent presence behind it, you find a deep and lasting freedom. And when you see how simple this truth is, you might laugh not at yourself, but at the wonderful and mysterious workings of the mind. Thank you for joining us today. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. See you in the next video.